we're going to go ahead and jump right in because we have a lot of ground to cover today. And so feel free, we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves, but feel free to introduce yourself in the chat as well. Maybe drop your name, where you're from. But my name is Rachel. I am an admissions counselor at CIU. So I have been working with some of you throughout this past year, and that has been a great joy of mine. I did attend CIU. My pastor told me about it way back home in Minnesota, and I ended up visiting and absolutely loving it. And I know that's kind of a similar story as some of you as well. So I started working in admissions following that, and I've been here for a few years and really, really love serving students and parents like you guys. So we're really glad that you're here today. I'll go ahead and let Aslan introduce himself and then kind of get us started with some housekeeping.
Yeah, guys, my name is Aslan. I also serve as an admissions counselor here at CIU. I graduated last year from CIU with a youth ministry and Bible degree. And then I did some other little job, and I was like, this kind of wasn't really my thing. And I really loved working with students. And so then graciously, CIU gave me this position. And so now I just get to work with students all day. And so I'm super happy, super pumped that I get to work with you guys. I know some of my students right now are in the chat, which is super fun. And so, yeah, like Rachel said, we're just going to go through some of this stuff. It's going to be very, very important stuff that we need to do. We need to do all this stuff. So hopefully we're going to try our best not to make it super boring, super dull. But a lot of this is going to be some pretty detailed information. So make sure you're paying attention. Really quickly, some housekeeping stuff. This should last somewhere between 25, 35 minutes. So we won't keep you for too long, but even at the end of this time, we will have the chat still open, so you can ask some of our members in the chat if you have any questions at the end of this. This is going to be recorded, so if you're going to come in halfway through here, if for some reason your internet, just went off and you needed to go cry or something, that's okay. This is being recorded, so we'll be able to send you guys that recording if you need it. And then I sort of already said this, but there is staff members in the chat ready to assist you. So if you have any questions throughout as we're talking, feel free to ask those questions in the chat and they'll be able to answer you as well. And then also, I need to mention this so I don't forget. Um, at the end of this webinar, we're going to tell you how you can win some gift cards. Yes, free money. So pay attention to the end and you can find out how to do that. With that being said, Rachel, take us away.
Alrighty, we're going to do a quick overview of what we're going to talk about. This page may look a little bit familiar for some of you if you have your RAM Ready orientation booklet that should have been mailed to you. If you recently registered, that's getting mailed to you. So don't panic, but feel free to take a screenshot of this if that would be helpful. If you do have your RAM Ready orientation booklet, I'd encourage you to go ahead and pull that out. We're going to be going through that exact checklist that you see on page 2 of the booklet. And so we're going to go through the academics portion, housing. We'll talk about financial aid and how you'll get your awards, how you can have them applied to your bill. We'll talk about paying your bill, which is the final step. And it is the most important step as it is the last thing that you need in order to move in. And then we'll talk a little bit about student life, welcome weekend, all of that. We won't touch on student athletes for these eligibility specific requirements that you see listed here, but we did want to show them now here as well, just for you to have on your radar. If you have questions about eligibility requirements, any NAIA items that you may need, definitely reach out to your coach so that you can get those done. But just wanted to kind of briefly touch on that. But yeah, go ahead and pull out this booklet. We'll be going through all of these items. That booklet's also a super helpful resource as far as different QR codes to scan to just knock some of this stuff out right away. So we'll kind of be referencing that throughout. And again, if you don't have that booklet, feel free to take a screenshot and it should be arriving soon for you.
Cool. Let's jump right on it. So there are going to be three really big items we're going to talk about today. Okay, so we'll talk about a lot, but there's three really big key items. And I am begging you guys to remember these items if you have not done them yet. I'm going to name the first one right now because we're going to talk about some of our residential students and our commuter students. One of the main things, hopefully a lot of you have already done this already, is do your housing deposit if you're a residential student. Um, This housing deposit kind of secures you a spot in our dorms, and it lets us know that you're also coming. This is very, very important for us and for you. Um, so please, if you have not done it yet, please do that. Our staff can put a link in the chat for you guys to do that. Also, at the end of this webinar, kind of one of the last slides, there'll be a QR code that you can scan, so you can also pay that housing deposit if you want to. But please do that for us. That's a super huge help, and it's a very biggie step to do. Second biggie step to do, just two in a row right here, is submit your housing survey. If you're going to be living on campus, this is extremely important. I would hate for you to show up on campus and you have not done your housing survey. You know what that means? It means our Res Life team can't put you anywhere because they don't know where to put you. So please, if you guys can, do the housing survey. This will allow our Res Life team to pair you with a roommate as well, and they will also put you in a room. So hopefully most of you have done this, and if you have, you should have gotten your roommate assignment and your housing assignment, which is great. And so please make sure to do that. Also, for our residential students, make sure that you can do this beforehand if you would like to. It's on my CIU under campus life, and you can go to residence life. But most likely, once you get to campus, make sure to read the residence life handbook. This is going to be super important. This is not necessarily like there's not a place where you guys can, check the little box to say that you did this. But there is going to be a lot of stuff in that book that is going to be stuff that you are required to know. Like you're going to need to know this stuff, or else you'll find out the hard way, which would be really sad. So don't find out the hard way. Read the Residence Life Handbook. This will tell you all about our dorms and residence life and what it looks like to live there, certain standards and stuff. So please make sure to do that. And then for our commuter students, just make sure to do that $100 enrollment deposit. So if you guys haven't deposited yet for commuters, do that $100 enrollment deposit. And then also for our commuters, if you haven't done this, it's pretty late in the game, but you still have time. Do the housing appeal. That is going to be super important. That lets our Res Life team know that you're not going to want to live on campus and you're looking to live off campus. So make sure you submit that. Um, and other than that, again, these are really big items. So if you haven't done those yet, please go ahead and do that for us.
All right, next we're going to talk about financial aid. And this is one of those items that you need to do in order to get your accurate bill. As Aslan mentioned, some of the other items too, you will need your housing assignment. If you are a residential student, your financial aid to be applied to your bill, and then your registration for courses. So, those are the three things that have to be done in order to get an accurate bill. So, we're going to walk you through finances and then registration later on. But, real briefly, just a note on the FAFSA. If you have not done your FAFSA already, I would recommend doing that today, as that does take a couple of days for us to receive on our end, and that is what we need to create your financial aid package if you are a US student. So that's the free application for federal student aid. It is free, so definitely don't pay to do anything that resembles this. It'll be a free application for you. So you'll do that. Again, I would say do that today if at all possible and have that sent to CIU. If you have already done your FAFSA or if you're about to do it, you can know that you will get a financial aid package in a couple of days after doing your FAFSA. Or if you've already done it, you probably have your financial aid package already and you've hopefully viewed it through your MyCIU website. But you'll go ahead and accept your financial aid and submit your required documents. Those are going to be the two financial aid steps that you need to complete in order to actually have your financial aid applied to your bill. So you'll accept your aid through your MyCIU website under the My Financial Aid tab, and then you'll also complete your financial aid documents there. It's all there in that My Financial Aid section. And then as another reminder, you do have to pay your bill either in full or set up a payment plan before moving in or before starting classes if you are a commuting student. So before check-in. So just remember that you do have to resolve your bill before checking in, and your admissions counselor will be in touch with you as well about how to do that. We'll kind of talk through that a little bit more later as well. But if you have any questions about paying your bill or setting up a payment plan, let us know, as that is kind of the final step. And we want to make sure you have a really smooth move in.
Yeah, really to reiterate what Rachel's saying, I wish I could just make a t-shirt that says pay your bill or resolve your bill. So really make sure you guys do that before coming on campus if possible, because again, It's really sad. I hate to make people sad, but it'd be really sad if you came on campus and said you wanted to move in and you haven't resolved your bill yet. So make sure to do that. So some student life stuff. Um, Submit your health forms. This one I feel like is sort of the one that it can get easily forgotten. Um, the thing with health forms is you have to set up a doctor's appointment to do this because all students are required to get a TB test. And so you have to set up a doctor's appointment to get that TB test. And it's really easy to kind of push that off. So if you have not done the health form yet, yes, I'm looking at my students. If you have not done the health form yet, please go ahead and do the health form. This would help us a lot. Again, this is a requirement for all students. And it shouldn't be too hard. Again, our staff members in the chat can drop that link to the health form where that can be located. It's just a PDF printed out. A lot of it you'll fill out, but then some of it is going to be your provider will fill out. And then we'll also need a copy of your insurance card. So as you send that, make sure to have a little, you can take a little picture or something of your insurance card just so we know that you have that as well. Um, Along with the residence life handbook, there's also a student life handbook. We usually just call it, though, the CIU handbook. This is the very general one. Unlike the residence life handbook, this does need to be checked off. There is a little check mark. So this can be found on my CIU, and just make sure to read it. Guys, look, I know it is like a million pages long, and I highly doubt any of you are actually going to read this like all cover to cover, even though I did because I'm a perfectionist. But even if you do skim it, please skim the important parts at least. Uh, it will talk about CIU's mission, our vision. It's going to talk about certain standards and stuff, certain rules, how CIU functions, campus life. It's going to have a lot of important details in there. And then also, you're required to read it. So you have to sign off on it. So after you read it, make sure you also sign off on it. That's also located on my CIU where you can do that. So make sure to do that before you come on campus, or at the very latest, at least before classes start. Then, lastly, this is I need to clarify some stuff. So, if you haven't taken your ID picture yet, make sure to do that. We hopefully sent all of you a little checklist item you all should have done, and on that checklist item, some of you that had done this, it said you had to do it again. If you've already taken your picture and submitted it, don't worry about doing it again. That was a little glitch on our part. But if you haven't done this, this is super easy. So on your little handbook that you guys should have gotten, or if you don't have, that's okay. On page 14, it shows you your ID photo instructions, and this is how you can do it. Just go to a blank wall, take a picture. I would say, what do you say, Rachel? Like something like this, like head, like maybe right there, boom, something like that, little headshot. Um, and then send it to ramid@ciu.edu. And our chat can, at our staff can put that in the chat. It's ramid@ciu.edu. Um, Make sure when you send that to that email to put your first name, last name, and then your ID number for that. That will just help us. So then when you come in to move in day, we can just hand you your ID card, which is going to be super convenient. So you don't have to worry about, going to our library IT section, taking your picture and doing it. It's just we can hand you your ID card. Super convenient, super easy. So make sure to do that. Also, super quick note. Make sure you guys do your parking decal as well. So FREE, parking is free, which is really cool. So you don't have to worry about paying for parking. But on my CIU, you do have to still register your vehicle to us. So make sure to go on my CIU, register your vehicle, and then in the mail you should receive your decals, and then it'll give you instructions on how to specifically put that on your car. But you will be needing that, because if you don't have that, then guess what? You're Yes, more sadness, because then your student will get a ticket from our campus security, and that's not fun. So please make sure to get your parking decals there. um, and once you do all that, you've done all the student life stuff.
Free sailing from there. Okay, this is the big kahuna registration and academics. And also, I just want to affirm you guys, there are, even today, I saw some student registration come through for some of you who are even here watching today, which is so, so awesome. So, thank you guys so much for doing that. But we're going to briefly go over how to do this if you haven't already, and some other notes just about registration that are good to know as maybe a new college student or someone returning but coming to CIU for the first time. So, couple quick notes. You will have access to an academic advisor as a new student, and we will have their information up on the next slide along with their contact info, just everything so that you have that information. They're wonderful resources for you. So do know that. But in the future, when you're an upperclassman, kind of junior, senior year, you will have a faculty advisor as well. This will be someone from your program who is really familiar with the requirements for your program, and they're going to help make sure that you are on track for graduation. They are awesome. Just speaking from my past experience, I absolutely loved my advisor, and she really helped me even get my internship requirement, which was just an amazing experience. So they're a great resource for you, and they will help you kind of with all of that later on. But as of right now, as a new incoming student, you will have your academic advisor. And again, we'll show their contact information in just a minute. You also have an advising worksheet and an audit worksheet. These are going to be through your MyCIU account, again under that registration tab. And these are just more resources for you to see kind of what your full degree plan is and what classes you have left to complete. Quick note on this: if you have an outstanding transcript still, and I think we'll talk about this later on too, but any CLEP tests, things like that, go ahead and send all of that information to us. Dual enrollment transcripts, that'll make sure that your advising worksheet and degree track, all of that is right on track. And then lastly, our ad drop deadline is September 5th. This is something that I'd encourage you to jot down. We want to make sure that you are registered and good to go like now, this week. But you can make changes up until all the way until September 5th. The ad drop deadline is exactly what it sounds like. It is your last day to add courses or drop courses. So do know that you're not locked in at this point. If you get on campus and realize, oh, I need to make a quick change and swap a class, you can do that. But you definitely want to long before that September 5th deadline. And we would really encourage you to actually get registered this week if you're not already registered. We will talk about how in just a second right here. So, you can follow these steps to register, but I do want to just point you again back to your advising resources. If you are an athletic recruit and you're watching right now, I would say pull out your phone. If you have not already met with Rebecca Vesey, please, please pull out your phone and go ahead and scan this QR code and set up an appointment with her. She is so ready for an influx of appointments right now. She knows that we are really encouraging students to do this, and she wants to meet with every single athletic recruit who's coming in. So she will help you actually register for classes if you haven't registered, and then she also will talk you through any like eligibility requirements. And then for students who are not athletic recruits, we do have a lovely advisor named Anne. She's awesome, and she is also ready to help you if you need. Do know for students who aren't athletic recruits, maybe you're not bringing in any dual enrollment or anything like that, and you just are starting fresh and you're just following your degree track, you can totally register yourself. Even transfer students as well. You'll be able to view your degree audit in your MyCIU account, and you can register yourself there. So I'll briefly walk you through these steps, but just know that Anne is there if you do need some backup. But you'll go to your MyCIU account, you will scroll down on your home page to click on student registration, and you'll click register. You'll want to make sure that your year is set for fall of 2023, which it should be if you're a new incoming student. And then there are two options for how you register. One will be through a degree audit summary, which again will just be kind of a list of classes that you still need, and you can search for the classes on your degree audit right then and there. If you would prefer to manually search for each course that you'd like to take, you can use your course search. But a really, really important note that we wanted to include here, even if you've done these steps already and you're like, I've registered, be sure to double check and make sure that you press checkout. That is something that you have to do in order to actually add your classes to your official class schedule. You'll notice when you do these other steps and you add classes, it'll show like on a little calendar on my CIU, but you have to click checkout in order to make sure that you have actually fully added those classes. So just maybe think back if you've already registered, make sure that you click checkout. And if you are about to register this week, just have that in mind as kind of a final reminder. We'll have Rebecca and Anne's information at the end as well. But again, if you're a student athlete, please go ahead, scan that QR code, and set up a quick appointment to meet with Rebecca.
Yeah, that was the third biggie item. So really, really make sure that to do that. Um, and I couldn't help but look at the chat, and so I was corrected for the parking decals. You guys will actually receive that when you get on campus. It will not be mailed to you. Apologies for the incorrection. They'll take that out of my paycheck this week. Don't worry. So now registration and academics. So after you register, you should receive an email with your CIU email account that is ready and active now. We will do this through Outlook. So all students, when you have a CIU email account, it will be through Outlook. Um, you can on when you go to my CIU on the homepage on the little top, there should be something that just says email. Click on it. You can go there. It should be the same credentials as your my CIU username and password. So you should be able to just put that in there, and then it'll sign you in. I cannot stress this enough. I'm going to get really close. I can't stress this enough. Um, look at your emails, please. Look at your emails. This will be the main way that CIU communicates to you. When you're a student, whether you're a prospective student, please make sure you're checking your CIU emails. It is just so important. If you don't, you're going to miss a lot. You're going to be very confused, probably. On top of that, as well, I would also say if you haven't already, download the CIU app. This is also another way that CIU is going to communicate with you. And it's also a way where you can interact with students as well. So, CIU email after you register. That's, again, really important. You'll get that after you register for classes. Get your CIU email. Make sure to download the CIU app. And then also, after you register, you can do the FERPA form. I know that's a really funny sounding word, FERPA. I, to be honest, guys, if you told me what that stood for, I probably could not give you the answer. Someone in the chat would probably know the answer to that. All I know is this FERPA form allows people to have certain access to your information if you would like them to. So if you wanted your parents to have access to your grades or your finances and to be able to ask us those questions, if they're not on your FERPA form, we legally cannot tell them anything. And so you know what'll happen? It'll make them sad. So it's all up to you, though. You can choose who you want to put on your FERPA, but just make sure to do the FERPA form. And so they can also drop that in the chat and where that's located. Um, but again, you can do the FERPA form only after you've registered because then that's when you get your CIU email address. And then finally, please make sure you're getting us your final transcripts from your colleges or your high schools. For colleges, just make sure that all your grades are finalized. Make sure you're not registered for next semester. I have had a couple of students where they tried to send me a college transcript and it said they were registered for that college for fall 2023. And I was like, that's not a final transcript. So make sure it's all finalized. For my high school buddies, please, please, please make sure that high school transcript says final. It needs to say final somewhere. Final. Final. If it does not say final, we will not accept it. I say this because we've had plenty of students send us a transcript and it doesn't say final, and I will have to be very sad. Again, I feel like it's just the theme right now is sad, which is really sad. It's not. This should be really happy. It is happy. I am happy. Um, so make sure though it says final on the high school transcript, and then that will be considered a final transcript. We need to have that. That is also another we need to have that before you move in. You cannot start or attend classes unless we have all of your final transcripts. That also includes dual enrollment classes that you've taken at other colleges. So if you've done dual enrollment at different universities, we still need that final transcript as well from you guys.
Alrighty, now we're moving on to kind of the happy stuff, the exciting stuff. Everything else is really important, and we need it to give you a smooth move in. But this is kind of the exciting stuff, the stuff that you're really looking forward to. So, move in and welcome weekend. As a reminder, all of these other steps have to be completed in order to get to move in. And if you're starting to feel panicked in your heart and soul, please don't. Know that that is our whole job, is to help you prepare for move in. We have an admissions counselor for every one of you, who is working with you, and your admissions counselor, if that's me or Aslan or one of our others, we really are here to help make sure that you move through this process. So if you have questions, reach out. But you guys are doing great. I know that it's a lot. This all culminates in move in and welcome weekend. Our athletes move in a little bit earlier. So some of our athletic students, soccer, volleyball, and cross country, are actually moving in about 2 weeks, which is crazy. So it's August 3rd. If you are in that group of students and you're like, oh my goodness, what do I have left, what do I got to do, again, just reach out to your admissions counselor, and we'll be reaching out to you too with reminders. But don't leave here with questions. We want to help you get those things answered, so that you can get all of this done beforehand. We know it can be a lot. And then again, we have the August 18th move in. And then the big move in for new students who are not athletes is going to be Thursday, August 24th. This is also the check in for commuters. And then after that, we have welcome weekend. It's super fun. There are a ton of activities just to help you really get acclimated to CIU and to really feel familiar and comfortable with the campus and campus life, but also to help you get connected to your classmates, which is fun. After that, we have the first day of classes on August 28th. And then we have Alpha Week, which is our first week of classes. And it's just a week full of a ton of different festivities, competitions, games. It's super fun, super high energy. So look forward to that as well. But again, all of these items need to be done to move in or to check in as a commuter and start classes, especially that final item, which is to resolve your bill. And again, I don't know if we really touched on this, but you can set up a payment plan. This is all done through the finances tab. If some of you have done all of these items, if you know that you're housed, you already registered, and yeah, you've done all of these other items to receive your bill, you've accepted your financial aid, you should be able to see your bill through your MyCIU account at this point. Our accounting office is starting to get those out this week. So you can actually go ahead and view it and resolve it with a payment plan through your MyCIU account. And again, if you have questions about that or concerns, let your admissions counselor know, and we're happy to help. But get excited. We're super, super pumped for move in and for welcome week.
Dude, yeah, let's go. It's gonna be super fun. Um, so we talked about the giveaway. The giveaway is super cool because it requires you to do the very things that you need to do anyways. So we're doing a giveaway with Amazon gift cards. We're giving away three $50 Amazon gift cards, and these will be given to those who are registered, have done the housing survey, and have deposited with us. So you need to do all three of those things. If you've done all three of those things, you have already been entered into this giveaway. So make sure you do that. There are some QR codes that are up right now for those things. So pull out your phones. Seriously, if you haven't done it already, just scan it, do it really quickly, deposit, take it. Like all these things take they're pretty fast, maybe not registration. But again, if you guys need to set up an appointment with Anna or Rebecca, please do that. But yeah, if you do these, then you're registered to get a little gift card, which is fun. And then as we just really needed to stress this because we really want to make sure it's very clear. You need to complete all checklist items in order to move in. If you don't do this, that if you don't do some of these checklist items, then it's just going to be really complicated when it comes to moving. And at least, like I feel like our jobs is we're trying to make you guys have the smoothest move in possible. We want you to focus on that college experience. We want you to focus on friends, building relationships, being with your team. We want you to do that. And I would hate for you guys to be distracted by having to do all these little nitty gritty stuff in admissions. And so please make sure to do all that stuff. And like Rachel said, of course, reach out to your admissions counselor if you have any questions about these items, and we can definitely help you complete those things.
Yeah, as much as we stress getting these items done, we also want to stress like reach out if you have questions, because that truly is what we're here for. We can help you get these things done. So, yeah, we're about to wrap up in just a moment. We did want to give you the slide of different contact information. Feel free to screenshot it. Aslan and I will jump off of the video here, but we're going to leave this slide up and we're going to continue to have staff members in the chat there to assist you with any questions. So don't leave today with any questions unanswered. That is why we're here. So feel free to drop any questions that you may have in the chat. And again, we'll leave that up for about 5 minutes. But I do just want to say that we are so excited for you guys. I know that this is a lot of information, and you guys are doing amazing at plowing through so many of these items. It's a lot. But like Aslan said, we want that second that you come on campus and check in to just be super awesome and super exciting, and for you to not be weighed down by anything, any of these last kind of items that you might have to do. We just want you to come and enjoy your experience and jump right in as a CIU student. So we're excited for you to join us. We really believe that God has chosen every class that we have incoming at CIU. And so we're excited for you, what he's going to do in you and through you. You guys bring so much to our campus. So we're super pumped for you and we're praying for you as you prepare. And again, reach out if you have any questions. Hope that you guys have a great rest of your day and we will talk to you later. Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.